Hello everybody and welcome to this general walkthrough of all 9 holes in the Nascar 9-hole Cup. We will be playing a full 9 of the Vineyard Acres. Before we get started, don't forget to hit thumbs up on the video and make sure you're subscribed here at BK Golf Clash. Get the bell button switched on for notifications when we go live or upload new content. Will be plenty of tournament content this week for the Nascar 9-hole Cup, including free-to-play master playthroughs and live streams in multiple divisions as well. Very much looking forward to getting started. So let's start our engines and go straight over to hole number 1. A very good chance for an eagle on this first hole. It's par 4 and pretty much actually is going to be a must eagle even with a short tournament. 20% extra on the drive, and there's only really one route that we're going to go here. The choice of landing positions depends on the wind strength and direction. The red cross is the usual one for most of the winds. Going to be bouncing over the rough with topspin and some right spin and a little bit of right curl depending if we do get left to right or right to left crosswind, and taking the ball as close to the fringe as possible. Second shot is going to be played minus 10% as it is slightly uphill, and most likely going to be a wedge, in which case look for a good landing position. There are a couple of dead spots on this green, so be careful. If you're not in wedge range, it's going to be a minimum distance short iron, so really good chance of finding a great adjustment with minus 10 elevation for an eagle. The blue cross indicates a landing position with tailwind. If we do get some decent wind on this one, we can carry straight over the rough and obviously tweak our top spin amounts to play a little bit more controlled. We don't want to overshoot. But either way, the aim here is going to be to get as close to the green as possible for a great start on hole number 1. Tricky par 3 here for hole number 2, and the general elevation I suggest is 20% downhill. The black line is obviously bouncing on the fairway, straightforward backspin shot, get the ball up to the pin. However, in tournaments we usually do play rough bump here because we want to have the best chance at a hole-in-one, especially in 9-hole cups where any extra drops during these short form tournaments are very useful indeed. So it will be a rough bump on the blue cross there from Pro and Expert and Master, which obviously going to be wood club or driver if you're from third tee. So it's a tricky one. Going to have to adjust accurately, especially as we are going to be adjusting downhill into the bunker in certain wind angles. But a very aggressive route and very good chance for a hole-in-one if you fancy it on hole number 2. The first of the par 5s now. This is hole number 3, and I enjoy playing this one. We do have a very good chance for albatross, which makes it very exciting. We want to bounce over the water there with our drive, with some right curl and some top spin and right spin as well. We don't want to get into the rough on the left over the water, even though we will most likely still reach in 2. But as long as we clear that stream, we're fine. 10% extra on the drive, and then that leaves going to be probably a long iron to the green for an albatross attempt. Now we have to use top spin here and rough bump it up to the green. Bear in mind this green is uphill, so make sure if you do have good ball guide that the ball guide goes through the hole. We do not want to be short in line, and we do not want to be rolling back down into the rough. 0% for the second shot. Obviously if we get our drive much further, we may well be using a short iron as well here. It all depends how much topspin we can use with our drive. If you do end up in trouble, bear in mind, and this is also an alternative for the second shot if you don't fancy the rough bump, there is a huge funnel here from the top right of the green. So if you do end up in the rough or the sand nearby, the chances of saving it are pretty good. And if you don't fancy the rough bump, you can also use backspin and find the funnel there, for example with the Saturn. So there we go, that is hole number 3. Hole number 4 is one of the easiest par 3s that we do have in the game, so I don't imagine that the wheels will be coming off for anybody here on hole number 4. Plus 20% is the general elevation, and we have 2 suggestions here. The blue cross, primarily going to be used in all winds for rookies. That's going to be with the long iron. You're going to need some backspin depending what the wind is doing. Bounce before the green for the best location to bounce, and then get your backspin sorted for a good chance at a hole-in-one. The red cross here really for second and third tee, and if we do get the right wind, then the rough bump is going to be the best chance to get an extra on hole number 4. Going to need some topspin, so the Goliath is very good for Pro and Expert, and Master Division going to be with the Sniper. Obviously, if we do have headwind, we're going to have to rethink here and probably go for a backspin bounce up with the blue cross landing position that's suggested here. So 20% general elevation for hole number 4. So having had a very good chance for Albatross on hole number 3, the next par 5 that we have here, hole number 5, is going to be much trickier, and we just want to hopefully get an eagle on this hole, depending what the wind is doing. The white arrows are the most common route, and depending on our wind direction we'll have different bounce points here. We have 10% extra on the drive, and we want to get down to the top left of that first piece of fairway to have a decent line to the green for our second shot. But bear in mind, this is a drive we want to be precise on. We cannot afford great lefts or great rights. We will risk the rough or the trees here, depending what the wind is doing. So get your top spin on, a little bit of side spin as well, depending on the crosswind that we may have. And then from there, the second shot playing 0%, and most likely going to need a wood club with more distance here. I don't think the Sniper is going to cut it unless we know that we're going to have tailwind on the second shot. So 0%. If of course we do have headwind, we're going to have to lay up and then go for a third shot, either with the wedge or the short iron, to hopefully get an eagle. The blue line here is something we have been doing recently, going aggressive on this one. So if we do get plenty of tailwind, then you're going to want to put your foot to the floor and go full blast. Try and land directly over there with some top spin, left spin and left curl. Give yourself a much easier chance of getting to the green in 2. However, that is going to obviously need a decent amount of tailwind, so we're looking at Expert and Master Division wins. And we have a par 4 now on the 6th hole, and here the drive is all about using an accurate club here. We want to kind of thread the needle to the right part of the fairway. I don't play onto the left piece. I think it's a bit risky. I'd rather take a safer route on this par 4, but of course some people will play more aggressively towards the water. So for me, I like the quarterback or the rock for the ball guide and accuracy. And don't forget, if you do have headwind, you can always set up with the quarterback or the rock, apply your spins, look at the ball guide, and then switch to, for example, the extra mile or a driver with more power to then adjust into. It's a very good trick to know. 5% is what I usually do here. However, some wind directions, if it's stronger, I may go up to +10 for the drive. But hopefully we get up to the tip of that first arrow, and then that leaves us a second shot which plays at -10%. And here I'm going to be looking to use the Sniper for a long shot at an eagle, but it is a possible drop as long as we adjust accurately and offset the ball guide accordingly to the wind that we're going to have. I don't see any mileage in blasting this one because there is a lot of water there now on this hole. So for me, it's all about safety first. Get your birdie with a slim chance of an eagle on hole number 6. Tricky par 3, hole number 7, and really only one bounce point here, and that's the red cross there just before that bunker near the green. Rookie division, this is going to be long iron with some backspin, but then Pro and Expert, this is going to be with the Sniper, and you've got to vary the backspin a little bit more here. In crosswind as well, what you are going to have to do is mix with some side spin to offset the ball guide so that we keep our adjustment the same. I usually play this the same percentage, but use the side spin to offset accordingly. It's all about getting a good speed as well. You can get some weird rolls down towards the pin. Master division here. Sometimes I will go with a max backspin shot a little bit further up and to the left, so bouncing more directly on the green, obviously with backspin drivers, Thor's Hammer, Rocket for instance. Go for a safe birdie that way. But there are some tricky moments here on hole number 7, and you are going to have to offset for that secondary bounce wind effect. The final of the par 4s, this is hole number 8, and we're going to be turning right on this dogleg hole. 10% extra on the drive. Get some top spin on, bit of right spin, bit of right curl. This is all about positioning ourselves in a very good point to attack the green on the second shot. You can, if you've got a driver with a load of curl, kind of cut the corner a little bit where the rough is there, but either way we want 10% elevation. Second shot +5 is what I'm using here, although this does vary. Occasionally I'll play it +10, mixing and matching, going with true club distance, but I've got 5 here as a kind of average. And we're going to be wanting to use the Guardian, and going max backspin, putting the brakes on the ball on this bounce point here, and using the slope at the back of the green to get the ball to roll down for a very fun eagle if this goes in. You can either approach this on that second shot, bounce either left or the right of the pin. Both are manageable eagles. They're not really an excellent way to dial in, because obviously you've got to deal with a lot of things, but both are viable routes, just bouncing to the left or the right, whichever is your preference, on hole number 8. And the finish line is in sight now with hole number 9, and unfortunately I don't find this hole very interesting at all, I'm afraid. Plus 10% on the drive, and we just need to play down towards the tip of that black arrow. It's really, really difficult to get anywhere near the green in 2, verging on impossible to be honest. So 10% on the drive, then you're going to want a wood club with distance. So we're going to need the Cataclysm Big Dog on this one, 0% for the second shot, and you've got 2 routes there. You can play out to the left, which is where the white arrow is, or you can go forward with topspin, which is carrying on the black arrows. From there, you've got 0% third shot, and we're going to be looking with here the Thorn if we can get into that range. I find the third shot here very, very tricky to adjust for the varying wind directions. It can be a very frustrating shot. If you can get an eagle here, it will be a huge advantage on hole number 9. Thank you very much for watching the general walkthrough, everybody. Don't forget to hit thumbs up on the video and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Whatever division you are playing in this week, all the best, and I hope you enjoy the NASCAR 9-hole Cup. See you all soon. Bye for now.